Hi everyone, Angelo here, homeless filmmaker in LA. Been living in my car for 13 months now, 13 and a half months. Been dealing with depersonalization, derealization. It's been an absolute roller coaster lately, making me sick. Mostly downs, not many ups. Certain things ground me, calm me. I get a lot of anxiety sometimes where I'm worried I won't feel myself again. I have weird sensations when I wake up, like my sense of the real world is going away. I said how the other morning I woke up after sleeping 2 hours and I was in pain, feeling like literally as if my personality or my ego or whatever was like a little miniature Pillsbury Doughboy version of me trying to run away. And that's that video of me lying in my car. It hurts so much. And I only managed to sleep maybe 4 hours total that night, like on and off. Next night I slept all right enough. Last night, slept on and off again, and I lied down in my car way too long today, just feeling like shit. And scared of the sensations I'd feel when I got up. I was scared. I literally lied down till like noon or 1 in the afternoon. And I went to sleep around 9 o'clock. Again, waking up throughout the night. So you can imagine I was sweating through my sleeping bag and everything, and just, I've still barely eaten in the last over 24 hours. I'm gonna go eat somewhere after this. So foolish right now. I went to the chiropractor. I'm supposed to go once a week still, and I didn't realize they close on noons on Saturdays. I'm like, oh shit, it's like 3 o'clock now. Haven't worked out the last 3 days. So, trying to rectify that. Tonight, I do want to go work out, even see a show, just to feel some normalcy. And I don't know, maybe I'm recovering better this time. I keep getting scared out of my mind, thinking it's going to get like last time. It's going to be like hell on earth, where I could barely hold a thought in my head. It's amazing to think I didn't even film any of this stuff before when I was sick before, but for one thing, I couldn't. I was hurting so bad. Second of all, it's weird. You look back, there was one day I filmed. If you want to know when that was, it was, I can't remember the month now. I didn't look at it, but I filmed a little video with my dad. It was like the one little brief glimpse of clarity, and I wasn't feeling good at all, but I wanted to film something. It was me and my dad like watching A Day at the Races with the Marx Brothers, and I couldn't really enjoy it at all, but it was just this little moment of sort of being clear. And then nothing, no videos again for months. You look back on my channel, look for something like, I'll link to it, I guess, because I can't remember the title. I didn't look it up. Like filming with my dad, or like my dad watching A Day at the Races or something. And I even took some pictures and put them on Facebook. And it's amazing how back then I really didn't talk about any of this much, because I just thought, well, first of all, it's not what I thought. I just couldn't communicate much, but I don't know. I just didn't tell this stuff to people. It's weird. I almost don't want to make videos about it because it's just so horrible. But yeah, it's scary. It's scary because I get these racing, intrusive, religious thoughts, these delusions. I'm getting help. The LGBT center is really great. Man, I'm gaining weight. I got to lose it. I said it before, but they want to put me through at least 6 weeks of counseling, then maybe 16 weeks as necessary, which the therapist said I'll probably need that. And I'm like, yeah, I may very well, unless I just suddenly make a recovery. And then it's getting hot in my car. Then they also want to get a psychiatrist for me to work with the therapist. So that'll be nice to get actual medicine that is actually useful for me. I've been on medicine before. It did shit all for me, and probably the worst, risperidone, I took, and I since have heard it's a powerful antipsychotic, but in the mental hospital, I started developing compulsive pacing, akathisia. I thought it was pronounced akathisia before, but it's akathisia, or I don't know. And that's when I was pacing 23 hours a day for like a month, sleeping maybe 45 minutes a night, because I would try and lie down, get up, lie down, and it amazes me how I didn't go to the emergency room when that happened. I'm like, man, I was so scared. I remember I was debating, like, how are we going to pay for it if I go? I didn't even know back then you don't have to pay. Like, just don't pay it. Because really, I should have been on something to stop that torture. Not being able to sleep, even though I was exhausted. Wanting to practically pace myself out of my own body to stop feeling my pain. This is still a scary time. I don't know if this is progressing or if I'm recovering. My hypnotherapist, I was fortunate. I saw him again yesterday. I filmed it. Again, I'm waiting to put any of that stuff up until I'm better. So it's like in context of my recovery. As foolish as I feel for saying I'll recover. He said I am recovering. Now I'm like, how the fuck do you know that, man? Do you know how bad this is? It's not even like, he was suggesting stuff like maybe I can work on different movies or read about different directors. I'm like, no, you don't understand. In this mode, I can't focus my mind on stuff. I'm trying. This morning, I just lied down watching Saturday Night Live sketches. It was a little okay for a time, and then it was hurting so much, and I was practically, just hysterical. I had to stop. Then when I came over to the chiropractor and they're closed, before I went in, I watched like 2 or 3, and I'm like, it feels sort of okay. So I'm like, is this like when I was getting into recovery mode in 2013? Or is this like I'm still declining and going even worse? I want to think I'm getting better. And I got to be patient with myself, because that's what happened before. My mom remembers this. The first day I drove again, after basically 8 months of not being able to drive, I did drive. There was a little period where I was able to drive short distances, but it was very scary and difficult. And I was driving around with my dad to like a body shop. He had car problems and stuff. Oh, it was horrific, the pain. And not being scared I wouldn't be able to drive each time, and eventually I had to stop again. So yeah, there was like a few days where I was able to drive, barely, short distances, and it was very scary because I wasn't sure how well I could control my senses. Basically, when I was able to drive again, even 10 minutes before I was able to drive, I didn't know I'd be able to. And all I did was, my youngest brother was driving me to a bar I used to go to and go to comedy shows at, and I did comedy shows. I did the open mics there sometimes. And I think he took me there once. Yeah, I went there and I was a mess and, just sad. But then, another time, maybe it was the next time or maybe the third time, but I was going to go there, and we walked to the car, and just standing there in the driveway, I said, I want to drive. And he was like, are you sure? I said, yeah. And I was able to drive. Now, obviously, I'm not disabled this time to where I can't drive. So, all I hope is that this puts it into context for me, like, yes, my brain is going haywire. I'm feeling detached from myself. I'm feeling these weird intrusive thoughts coming in that are like the scary as hell existential thoughts and stuff, and this deep searing pain. And this feeling of disconnection. I almost woke up this morning like in a image of a movie came to mind, the opening of Saving Private Ryan. And I remember there's a shot where Tom Hanks looks back and he looks shocked. You know what I'm talking about, when he's dragging a guy and he gets blown up by a mortar or something and his legs and arms are blown off. And then he's dragging him, but he doesn't know the guy's dead. And then he looks back and he's shocked. That image came to my mind, almost like the way he looked surprised was like how I felt surprised, like, oh yeah, movies exist. And that was terrifying. So it's like, am I going deeper into this, or am I already recovering? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm scared so much. I try and remember what it was like last time. Like, did it feel like this when I was recovering before? I don't know, because a lot of that was just a blur to me. I sort of remember specific moments, but it's hard to remember the emotions. All I can say is the emotions of the first day I came to LA, when I was actually an hour away in Rancho Cucamonga. I can sort of remember the excitement of sitting in this little boba cafe and remembering there was a Dreamcast there and plugging in my phone and laptop and being so excited. that I was finally close to Los Angeles, even though I was so pissed off. My car was overheating and scared to drive it on the highway when it was overheating. But I'm like, okay, if those little glimpses are coming back right now, maybe that's good. I honestly don't know. Because with this, it's not like when I'm my normal self, and I can project out, this movie of what the future is going to be. Even though a lot of it's unknown, it's like I know certain things I'm going to do. Not like what the huge goals will be, but like I know if I'm going to keep filmmaking, I'm going to keep making small videos and big videos. I'm going to work on other shoots, other movies. Stuff's going to happen that's exciting. And it's going to give me opportunities I didn't have before. I knew that. Now it's like I can't really plan for all that stuff. It's scary. I have a movie shoot tomorrow, and which I didn't commit to yet, and I'm really scared to even go. And I couldn't plan on it earlier this week because I just didn't know. And right now I'm thinking, okay, just try and go. Just try and make it, even though I get these horrible dissociative thoughts. When I get these racing thoughts, they're basically like stuff to do with religion and God and stuff. It makes me feel totally disconnected from the real world, from the pride and satisfaction of just imagining a good movie scene, making it. Whenever I see images and stuff just all around me, I picture it like it's in a movie. And that was my pride and satisfaction throughout the day. Everything else came from that. And now it's like to not have that. But there's this vague little inkling, like I'm through a membrane, and it's almost like it's trying to push through, like you see something's on the other side, but you don't quite know what. You can't feel it yet. It's like, am I coming back? Will I have that love of movies again? Because it's so scary. It's just, I'm tripped out. Now, everyone's reassuring me I will, because sure enough, that's how I came back every time. Hypnotherapist is saying that. My mom, she's totally convinced, and of course she knows me better than anyone. She's like, trust me, Angelo, I know. Like, you're getting better, or you're going to, and you're going to love movies again, and we'll do the things we used to do. Because right now, just in the moment, I don't feel all that. I know it's sort of there. I know I'm basically still here, but it can be like knives in me. And I'm worrying, will it get worse? And I went through a stage last time where I was so in such searing pain, I felt possessed. Like, I just have to do stuff even though I don't believe in it. Meaning, I don't even like talking about it, but there was a little while where I was going to churches and stuff, church services, and afterwards, and I was in horrific pain. And then talking to the priests and preachers afterwards, but I didn't believe any of this stuff. So I'm like, well, how can you believe this? And how can you believe that, or whatever? And, I'm like, I know I don't believe this stuff, but I was like, if I feel this horrific pain, it's like somebody twists your arm. It doesn't matter if you believe it's a good thing. They twist your arm one way, you go with your arm. It doesn't matter whether you think, oh, this is a good thing. No, you're like, this is horrible. You may hate the person. You may be mad at them, but it's like, okay, they're twisting your arm. You have to prevent your arm from ripping off and breaking. And that's what it was like. And then finally one day it was like, oh, enough. It was sort of out of me. I didn't have to, but I was still recovering for several months. I don't know yet which direction that's going. I seem clear now, don't I? It's amazing. I'm looking at myself on my phone, the monitor or the screen, and it's like, yeah, what's the difference? I look and sound like the same guy. Ugh, gained some weight again. But that's fine. Like, that's the least of my concerns in a way, except, feel big. But I can't know in this stage whether I'm better or not. I'm still getting the intrusive, the words and stuff that sort of trigger me and freak me out. But the thing is, when I'm better, that stuff, it's always there, but it's lurking, and I'm able to suppress it. But I don't want to have to live like that, keep living like that. I want it to be desensitized. I want it to be gone. I realized looking back, those thoughts of beliefs I had when I was younger and stuff, that, oh, this is the truth. This is, this is God or something. This is true religion. I realize now it was feelings of dissociation. It's only in this last bout I finally realized that, like, oh, those were, and it's so narcissistic. It was so narcissistic of me at the time to think, you know, I had discovered these truths and stuff. Like I sort of believed in God and I sort of felt it, but I didn't have any reason to believe it. It was just this feeling of dissociation. And I look back at it, I'm like, I know that was dissociation even when I was 14, feeling that stuff. But at the time, I didn't know that. Well, what's with, I sound like Ray Romano or something. At the time, sorry, my accent comes from like movies, from TV shows, like everything I watch. Like I'll slip into Southern Angry Grandpa or New York Scorsese or LA, whatever. San Fran. But yeah, it's like, I don't know how I'm doing. And yesterday I was freaking the hell out. I went and saw the hypnotherapist. Thank goodness he made time to see me when I told him how distressed I was. And I swear I was fidgeting and stuff. I was like freaking out. And I sort of calmed down halfway through. And I didn't know whether that was a good indication. And I almost thought that was bad. Like, oh, if I'm calm, I won't want to get better. Think about it. If you're just totally like numb, you don't feel anything. I almost felt like I was regressing to an infant in a way. Like no power, just taking in stuff. And on top of the dissociative feelings I was getting. Still scared. It's still tough, but there's a very small, faint part of me that says, okay, this is a brain state. It can be undone. I don't know how. I don't know if I'll get through it in a week. My mom's saying, hey, you might be surprised. She's saying, yeah, it might be a week, it might be 2 weeks, it might be 6 weeks. I really don't want it to be 6 weeks. The 9 months, it was unbearable. I really should have had better medication back then, but that was the shit options I had in Virginia. It's not that the doctors and stuff didn't care. It just, I don't know, the resources weren't there. Taking risperidone in the hospital, man, that fucked me up. And as soon as I was pacing so much, I really should have been on something to make me better. Pacing 23 hours a day for a month. Imagine that, like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, going throughout the house, wondering how much, and I was like bobbing up and down like this, like almost trying to force my pain out of me. Very scary. And it's like, okay, I know myself better this time. It's still scary. Even now, certain things dissociate me. I was just getting these references for a second, or dissociative. And all I could think is try and maintain normalcy like I did before, even though I thought for sure I could never even bear to watch a TV show again. I started watching stuff. For some reason, one of the only shows I could bring myself to watch was that Spike TV tattoo artist show. You remember that? The tattoo competition show? I don't know what it was about that. It's not that I was feeling good watching it. I was in terrible pain. But it was some small thing I could watch. The other thing was How I Met Your Mother. Never watched it before, never watched it afterwards. And it was excruciating. But it's like watching anything else, seeing people feel emotions and stuff and live lives, it was like too painful to bear. Knowing that I couldn't do that. I remember one morning I tried watching on the Today Show Ang Lee do an interview promoting the life of Pi, and even that I had to turn the station or stop watching because it was excruciating watching this guy feel the things that I used to feel about film, and now it's like I can't feel a damn thing except pain. How do I describe the pain? I don't know. It was like knives in me. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I was in such pain. Think about it. If a knife was in you, I guess, you're not thinking stuff like, oh, I got to go later this week and work, and I got to do laundry and stuff, or I want to go see a show or something, see a movie. All you're thinking is about the pain. Like, that's where your thoughts go. And that's what I was thinking. And it was so bad that September and October, really bad. And then November, I went to the mental hospital. And then November or December, wherever in there, I was pacing for like a month. Wait, was it November I went to the mental hospital? I don't even remember exactly. Yeah, Ooh, man. So out of it. But yeah, I'm going to link to that video of Day at the Races. That was when I was sick, and I was in a lot of pain making that, but it was just a brief moment where I could film again. I'm still not out of this. It scares me. I'm still sitting here. It's like I want to feel my old self again, and then I get dissociative thoughts that make me feel like I'm floating off even further. It's very scary. I want to look at this street and feel the power I used to feel, that old sense of well-being. And this street I've driven on when I was feeling better. I don't know. I know it's so hard to take in, like, how could I not be well? I look fine, I sound fine. But I know psychologically making videos is something to do with me sort of being well. But you know, this stuff, this trauma on me, it has such a grip from when I was young. I can't believe, looking back, I've only learned that because I always wondered what that feeling was, and now I only realize it was being dissociated, and it felt good in a way, but I remember also scary, like being dissociated even now. Like, yeah, it's kind of numbing, but it kind of felt like this loss of control over my mind. And I felt that a few times after that. And now I know each time it was dissociation. So think about it. Whatever was building in me was there from when I was a young child. Or it was at least, I don't know. I really don't know. At least from when I was 14. And my mind was grabbing onto things. And I was so arrogant. I felt so sure that I knew the truth about the world. And it's like, think about that. How could other people in the same class not feel that? And I did, and I thought, oh, I'm sure I'm right. Think about it. It didn't feel arrogant, but it absolutely was. And that's how religion fucks people up. You can be the most arrogant son of a bitch and feel like, no, I'm just helping you. I'm bringing you the truth. It was so fucking arrogant of me, but I didn't know better. Because what was I taught? I was taught, like Adam and Eve, if you went and decide stuff for yourself, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. How messed up is that? I'm hoping these insights make it better for me. I'm hoping they almost hypnotize myself into getting better. I'm hoping I pull through this and I break through this like membrane that I can't get past. As painful as it is, as scary as it is, I wish I could remember in a way what it was like, February, March, April, that's when 2013, when I finally was able to drive again and work again. Even though I wasn't really myself yet, but I knew I was better. I knew. And it was like, okay, now I got to build up my identity again. I needed time just to do that. But I wonder if I could know what it was like then. Because back then I didn't think I'd get better, but I can't recall the pain exactly. But I know I couldn't watch movies yet or anything. And it's like, well, am I in my decline before I get better? Or am I just, I already experienced the decline. It's not as bad this time. I'm getting better. I can't tell yet. I get scared, but I'm hoping just knowing, it's like informing my subconscious brain, hey, this isn't helping us. We don't need this. You don't have to go all, emergency alert at the power plant, like shut everything down, trip the fire codes, put on the emergency lighting, the motion sensors, all that stuff, whatever. That it informs me like, no, it's okay. We got the all clear. Unlock the doors, bring back the employees. Everything's fine. We can run operations as normal. Hoping maybe. And the hypnotherapist did give me some tricks to just sort of ground myself, which are very hard to do sometimes. And I don't think I'm out of this by any means. That's the thing. I know when I'm better. I still have the intrusive, scary thoughts. But I'm going to keep trying. Thank you all for your support. I don't like showing myself like this. All I can hope is that foolishly somehow I'll be better, you know, when I accept that, you know, when I know I'm better, when it just comes to me. And that this way, this is like a diary of what it's like to experience DPDR in a way. Because a lot of people I've read, they don't get a diagnosis for 11 years. For me, it was like 16 years. And now I'm into 17 years. Excuse me. So it's an unfortunate thing, I guess, about having a big imagination, which everybody does in a way. And then mine is even worse at going overtime and torturing me. But I'm hoping this insight and the great help at the LGBT Center, and I'm shaking my leg, and the hypnotherapist and another hypnotherapist, and the support of you all and my mom and other people, friends who I know are encouraging me, even if they don't say it, they're encouraging me. Ultimately, none of that matters in a way. It's like I need to be well, and that's that. I know this isn't normal, and I know this isn't, you know, necessarily permanent. It's not like my fate. It's like, yeah, it's okay to be who I was. There's a part of me that almost feels like it's bad to enjoy anything. And that's a feeling I've had, you know, for many years. And I might always have that, and it's fine. I just have to be able to not freak out and dissociate with it. I could talk all day. Man, it's amazing. The other day when I went to the hospital, that one night, I think it was Saturday, or was it Saturday? I don't know. But I was doing that live stream, and I felt like such shit. And I don't know. I just don't know. You know? Even though I hate this, I've never wanted, I missed so many years of my life to just being under this thing that tortures me and possesses me, that, you know, it makes it better in a way, because now I finally understand more about it. I didn't understand some things before, and I know that each time I became, you know, slowly became a better person. I used to be this right-wing conservative dipshit bigot. You know, I used to buy into the stuff they taught in school about homosexuality and transgender people, and it's disgusting, the stuff they teach about that. So hateful. And they act like, oh, it's out of love, we love you. You could say anything like that and want to torture someone just because you can't, like, you feel weird about them. You know, so much brainwashing. But like I said, this stuff, it helped me in a way each time to be disillusioned, but also to just be a little more understanding each time, more accepting, and just realize more and more, and listen more, and still becoming a better filmmaker and doing more. The last 6 years, I did more than ever as a filmmaker. I was so inhibited even before, and thinking I'll get rich. I'll just get rich one day, it'll happen, and then I'll make movies. But I wasn't realizing that I wasn't making the stories that I really wanted to. And it was only in the last 6 years, when I got out of my illness in 2013, that's right when I made a video like for Jimmy Fallon that went on his late night show. Back then he was still hosting late night. And Tim's Cook-Off happened just a few months after I got better. And I didn't even think at all I'd get better. So, I don't know, I'm still scared. I'm still scared like the sensation won't come back. You know, almost like if a limb is paralyzed, and you know, you hear about people who, like, they get the sensations back, and at first just a tingling in their fingers or their wrist or whatever, or their toes, and then more and more. It's like that. It's like you don't know 1 second to another how it's going to be, but I just hope it'll get better. I don't know. I get scared saying that because it's like I don't want to get my hopes up and then be disappointed, but I don't know. I got to keep pushing.